Hello guys, welcome to the day 6 of the 7-day masterclass on Flutter. So yeah, in the previous session we had just worked on icons, text styles, list styles, cards, builders and navigators, and it's time to actually work on the backend kind of stuff, because the front end layout kind of stuff we have a basic intro of how to make it, how to use them, all the columns, cards, list styles, list views, etc. Pretty much basic. And now we are actually going to work on the backend stuff. So we would like to use a HTTP callback to send a request to a server and get some JSON data, and we are going to use that JSON data to organize in the application. So you're going to send a request to the server, and we need to wait until it's going to respond. And once we got the response, we're gonna showcase the content over the screen. So this is what we're gonna do now. So yeah, so I had removed pretty much everything. I'm gonna create the home class again, which is actually a widget which I can see. And then in order to perform the HTTP handling, there is something called the packages. So we need to use the HTTP package. So HTTP packages, PubDev is actually a website where you can actually get a lot of Flutter packages. So I'm gonna search for HTTP package over there. You can see it was in the first, and this is actually the package and how to use it. You're gonna have a URL where the JSON data or the API is there, and you're gonna send a post request, or you can send pretty much a get request or a post request probably, and then you can actually get the data in the response format, and then you can actually organize that data, that response body, and you can actually showcase the content over the screen. And there is a simple example over here, and he's performing a get request and he's decoding the JSON data again and from the body, and then he's actually using that in the application. So yeah, let's get doing that. So how to install it? Go to the installation tab, and under the dependencies section in the pubspec.aml file, so we need to go to the pubspec.aml file, and under the dependencies section, which is over here, I can add our HTTP package and control save. It would actually get the necessary stuff to download, and once it got downloaded from the cloud, and we can use the HTTP package in our application. And again, we have a simple data API data over here. So it is actually coming from this URL, demirestapixample.com, where it is having the number of employee data. So we're going to use that. So I would like to create a string saying URL, or you can say API URL, and then you can save that over here. So whenever you are actually adding new packages or new plugins, make sure you need to actually rebuild the entire application again, because the app need to rebuild the entire code every time whenever we actually add a new package. Okay, and also make sure you actually get all the packages necessary. And let's wait until it actually build the application. yeah, you can see now the there is actually prompting up, the app is actually opening on the one side, and now we'd like to do some work. So actually there are actually two states. Once the data is actually loaded, and the other is whenever the data is not loaded. So there are actually two kind of layouts that we need to represent in this application. So we need to create a boolean value which would actually tell whether the data is loaded or not. So is loading, and it would be actually true whenever it would actually open for the very first time, because whenever the app opens, we are actually pretending to get the data from the server. So on init state is actually a built-in function that would actually fires up whenever the class had been whenever the class was open, whenever the class had built the build function. So I'm going to create a function called getData, and I'm going to declare that over here in order to get the data from the server. So how we actually get the data from the server? So in order to do that, we need to work on HTTP handling. So go over here, import HTTP package as HTTP, and also we need to import the converter, because this would actually convert the data, the API data, into which is actually the JSON format, and we are going to convert that into the necessary formats, so we can use it in the app layout as convert. And then I'm going to cut down. Let's auto import that. But okay, right over here. So I'm gonna send a request. So variable var request, or you can we are gonna send the request. So whatever we're gonna get back is actually the response. So right, which represents asynchronous programming, because we need to wait until the actual data has been loaded. So whenever the data is loading, it is going to start loading. So if load is equals to true, because it is going to start loading the data over here, and it would actually load the data at this part, and then once it reaches the bottom of the code, then it is actually not loading the data, because the data was already loaded. So it would say is loading is false. So meanwhile, it needs to load the data at this point. So the response, we're going to send a request to the server using the HTTP package, http-package.get, and we need to call the API URL, and it would actually send a request to the server. And once we get the don't forget to use the semicolon out there, and you need to verify if the response status code is actually equals to 200, and if it is 200, then you can say that the server has actually responded in a proper way. And the JSON response, I had just created a variable called JSON response, so that in order to convert or you can say to decode that. So JSON decode, we need to decode the data into what we can actually use in the application. So the response dot body. So the response body is actually a string, and I am actually converting that into the JSON format so that we can actually use in the application. And yeah, once it got converted, now the data is in the JSON response stuff, so we can actually use this in the application. Now I would like to create, before I create a scaffold saying app bar, saying having title HTTP in flutter, it's double T of course, HTTP in flutter, and in the body part we need to verify if the data is loading. If it is loading, then show in the center widget having a circular progress indicator. Which should actually keep on loading until the data is actually coming. And once the data has been loaded or came, it would actually showcase this container. And I'll create a list view builder, because there are actually a list of employees over there, and each of those employees having a date of name, their salary, etc. So the item count will be the JSON, what is the variable over there, the JSON response over here. I would like to create a var over here called data, which is actually null initially, and after that I'm gonna add data is equals to JSON response. So the entire data will be now available in this variable, which is data. So data dot length item builder, which is actually having context, and I, which would actually the value that would actually keep on incrementing based on the index. In return, I would like to just return the names of the employees for now. Of I would like to just take a look at the API. So this is actually the index, the I value will be this, and after that we have the employee underscore name. So let's use that. Perfect. So now it would actually return the employee names. And now you can see the data has been loaded in the console over here, but there are actually some stuff. There is again a parameter called data that we need to go inside, and then it might work. Actually in the API you can see it was actually wrapped inside the data, which is actually again a list of items, a list of objects, you can say. That's why you need to actually wrap this response inside the data variable, inside the data kind of notation, so that you will actually get or showcase all the list of names of the all the names of the employees working over there. So instead of using the simple text widget, I am gonna use list style, because that would actually make things attractive. So list style having a title, which is his name, and subtitle, let's choose some other entity for that. We are having age, salary, of course salary, because that's what we are left with. So let's use salary. Just click on Ctrl S. So yeah, you can see the salaries now. I don't know what kind of it is, Indian rupees or dollars, I don't know. Maybe that was I don't know, but that was salary. Perfect. Now you can see each and every user having their names and their salary. Let's do a circular avatar, because that would actually make things much attractive, and having a person icon. Perfect. So now we have just fetched the data from the internet, you can see from server, and we have just loaded the entire data on the application. Again, if I actually restart the entire app, you can see it would show a circular progress indicator at the beginning. At the time it was actually getting the data from the server, and once we got the response, it would actually showcase the content in the application right over here, just like that. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is actually interesting, one of the most what I would like a lot, because HTTP responding from the server and these kind of stuff, streaming the data and these kind of stuff are what I'm actually most interested on. And I hope this was really interesting for you guys, and yeah, that's all for now. Thank you. Peace.